Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for day 4 of the test match between Australia and the West Indies. Now, I should mention, it did start 20 minutes ago. Since that stage, we've seen around 10 runs or so scored by the Australians. But Steve Smith, pretty well set at the moment. 39 runs off 65 deliveries. Green at the other end, 12 runs off 50. Currently, Kumar Roach continuing his bowling spell. Now, he was very close to picking up a wicket last night. He has yet to get one in this innings, but he did pick up Steve Smith in the first innings of this test match. Now, initially, there was actually supposed to be quite a bit of rain around for today, but for now, the rain has stayed away. Brisbane, they are expecting rain, 60% chance at 3 p.m. It is slowly actually getting further and further deep in the day to be expecting the rain to fall. But Roach again now. Oh, is it? Well, that's close. Very close. They shout for it. De Silva's not interested, but I think that was relatively close. And to be honest, the West Indies at this point... Oh, no, they didn't go upstairs. I was going to say at this point you might as well. You've got to pick up these wickets in quick succession, although they do only have 2 reviews remaining. Did forget about that first one that they used up, and that one was going down leg. And I'm back, says Teddy, welcome back. And I Amish Bros, says Michelle. And at the chat as well, welcome in, mate. Smith, 39 off 67 balls. Last ball of the Roach over. And it's going to be no run. Hit straight out to the man at point. That'll be the end of the over, 71 for 2. Kumar Roach, 3 runs off his over. Australia, theoretically, they will want... I would say by the end of this session, if we get a full session in, that is, without the rain playing factor, Australia will want to be within, I'd say 70 runs, if not maybe even within 60. Could even be up to 50 if they really do attack, which is a possibility for the Australians. I think last night was the perfect example of them willing to go after it just a little bit more. Fish and chips, says the house. Sadly, the only fish and chip shop we've got still isn't open. It opens tomorrow, though. Very exciting. Here comes Justin Greaves. And what happened to Shamar Joseph? Unfortunately, took a shot to the toe from Mitchell Stark, 143k Yorker, but he is on the field, and he will be able to continue in this match. And I believe in the warm-ups, he was actually bowling as well. So I think we're going to see him with the ball in hand at some stage for today. Alzari Joseph, of course, has been bowling. Now they have gone to Justin Greaves. Did actually pick up the lone wicket for himself last night. And off topic, if you don't mind, I figured out what Chloe's Better Hog has done to her ribs on New Year's. Must have been one of those naughty Happy New Year's hugs. And beer hugs, sorry. Says Nazi Williams there. Amputation of the toe, says the house. Not quite that serious. I know that more than likely he will have a severely bruised toe. I don't think it's broken, though. Okay, they've just called it an external blow. So hopefully we'll be all right to continue in this match, as they will heavily need him in the bowling attack. Nicely worked to the leg side from Cam Green. How fast is Greaves bowling at the moment? He's around that 125. He normally builds up a little bit more towards that 130. And what is the blue on your name again? I forgot. What is the blue on your name again? The blue on my name. You've confused me there, Teddy. We've got there. Have you had to pick one batsman in Oz team? Who would be your favourite? I mean, I really do enjoy watching Marsh. They were saying, oh, Steve Smith has chased after an extremely wide ball from Greaves. He's managed to slash it through in the chat. I believe it means that he is a member of the channel. And even I don't know, mate, says Nuzzy. So yeah, I think it is a channel member. Does come through as blue. 2 runs taken by Steve Smith. That one was almost... would have probably been a wide if he had left it, but he saw it was short enough and decided he still wanted to take on the opportunity to score runs. Slashing it out through extra cover. Australia still getting another 2 runs. 142 Now to win, another one wide from Greaves, and I would almost call that as a wide. It's a dot ball. Not quite getting it right at the moment, Greaves. Needs to bring that line in just a little bit more. Make Steve Smith play at it. And I'm from Trinidad. And there says JJ. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. Currently quite late night for you in Trinidad and Tobago, if I am correct. Now Smith moving into the 40s with that last two. Leaves that ball alone outside of off stump. I don't think he's got as much attacking intent as he showed last night, Steve Smith. Maybe that is because of the weather. It was supposed to be raining at this stage. I actually saw earlier on in the weather report, 90% chance that it was going to be raining right now. But currently it seems like it's slowly getting further and further in the day. We'll actually check out the Gabba. Yeah, so 60% chance at 3 p.m. that we are going to see rain at the Gabba. 80% for 4. Another nice back foot punch from Steve Smith gets the single. And yes, 12:27 in Trinidad. And also Smith jogs like a duck, says the house. But luckily for him, he didn't get one today. He's sitting on 42 runs at the moment, Steve Smith. He still goes relatively quickly, though, between the wickets for a guy who does have such an unorthodox style of running. Off the final ball of the over, he did get the single, which means he will now retain the strike for this next over. 4 runs. No boundaries scored for 103 balls. No wonder it felt like he wasn't as attacking, but 103 balls of no boundaries is actually pretty awesome for the West Indies. That seems like a little mini achievement, but it's all well and good, but they need a wicket. And nice night of sport on your channel tonight, says Naz Williams. Yeah, we have got the cricket, of course, that we are covering here. Alongside that, we have got the Sevens finals that we are doing in 30 minutes time, or in fact 40 minutes time, sorry. We are popping over for that next contest between the Australians and Ireland, Ireland and Argentina. And then Fiji, Australia following closely after. A little bit of frustration on the face of Roach there. He thought that ball should have been good enough to get through Steve Smith. Didn't end up being the case now. Steve Smith, a lot of foot movement today compared to yesterday. Maybe that is why his run scoring has slowed down a little bit more. He's playing with a lot of confidence last night. Hi, all and Hamish, says Robert, and kia ora, Robert. Hope you are well. Says Nazi Williams. And there as well. But I should mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. You all being here. Summer of cricket is over. And now I have to listen all about NRL. Although we've still got Australia versus New Zealand taking place in March for the series. Also the ODI and T20 series between Australia and West Indies. Well played by Steve Smith. Another in-swinger from Roach. Doesn't get the stumps, and it's almost swinging too much, that in-swinger, to actually clean up the stumps of Steve Smith if it does hit the pad. I should mention in February, the first of the ODIs, it is a day-nighter taking place at 4:30 p.m, and that is on this next Friday coming up. So in 5 days' time is when that one's going to be taking place. The New Zealand Test match up against South Africa actually starts 2 days later. So it starts on the Sunday here in New Zealand, which is the same date as the second ODI for the West Indies. And then the third ODI takes place on the Tuesday, followed by the T20 series starting up on Friday. Then they have a Sunday match and also a Tuesday match. My acting up. I'm not actually too sure what that is, Robert, but hopefully it does come right for you. Are the West Indies still winning? No, they are not. If they aren't able to break this partnership soon, the West Indies will lose this match. Currently 34 runs off 94 balls for the Australians here. Now, rain could actually be their best friend for today, as it might entice the Australians to speed up their run scoring a little bit more, but for now, the rain is staying away in Brisbane. It's also still very warm. 27 degrees Celsius. Of course, we have seen some warmer days of this test match, including yesterday, where the high was around 36 degrees. How much runs do you think Smith will make? Says Randeep. My original prediction, I think, was 64. Or something along those lines. That might have been for the first innings, but nice shot from Cam Green. Nicely gliding it off his pads to the leg side, and it is a good finish to the over. 4 runs for Green, 4 runs for the Aussies, and now they sit on 80 runs for 2. And do you think West Indies will win? No, not at this stage. 136 runs for the Australians is just not enough, I don't think, for the West Indies to be able to defend. That's not to say that they can't get a few more wickets, but I just have a feeling that, unfortunately, picking up that, like, they allowed Australia back into the contest, and then their tail yesterday with the bat in hand threw away their wickets way too easily. They tried to play too defensive, and it ended up costing them probably a good 30 or 40 extra runs, which could have been very handy for this scenario. Back pain, not missing one podcast, says Roberts. Yeah, hopefully the back pain does get a little bit less painful for you. 2 for 81. I miss Richie, says the house there. But another good single taken by Steve Smith. He now moves up to 44 on the board for him. Score at the start of the day was 2 for 60. So Australia, they've had 7 overs where they have scored 21 runs in total. It is quite dark at the ground. They have got the lights all on. They're saying it's looking ominous. Okay, they've just mentioned that it looks like the rain has been avoiding the Gabba so far. Another single taken by Cam Green. Yeah, still ticking over at 3 runs per over. Theoretically, with the amount of runs remaining in the day that Australia would need, they would probably need around 44 overs or so. Now, will we get 44 overs today with the weather forecast? Maybe not. Their best bet is probably the evening session if they do get rained off earlier than that. I'll be back in 10 minutes. I got to have my lunch. Says Teddy, no worries at all. Enjoy. Do you think India versus England will have a drawn game, says John? I don't think so. I think we're going to see a result in that test match. Taxpayers are footing the bill to have the lights on outside, says the house, and looks like the Windies will lose this match, but it was great to see the Windies show some fight, says Malia. Yeah, I think that the West Indies, they really showed in that first innings what these young men can do when the pressure's against them, bowling-wise as well, being able to get Australia 24 for 4. That's something that not many teams have been able to do in recent times. Still back in the Windies, even if they might not win. Nice solid shot down the ground from Cam Green. Partnership has now succeeded the 100-ball mark. Like I said, Shamar Joseph has taken to the field. Not too sure whether or not he will be bowling. I think that they'll want him to at some stage. Yeah, it looks like he's running not too badly on it. So I think we might actually see Shamar Joseph have a bit of a bowl at some stage in the session. Pitched up ball, driven down the ground, misfield. Cannot afford that if you are the West Indies. Need to take every chance in the field. So rather than being a dot ball, they will get back for 3 runs. Cam Green moves up to 21. Is his foot doing better? It does seem to be. He was running on it just then. So that is promising. Like normally when you got the broken toe, didn't go away for x-rays though for last night. And I think that was one of the signs that maybe he was going to be okay. But yeah, misfield from Brathwaite. The captain going straight through him. The unhealthy green is helping Australia to win, says Shashank. And amputation, says the house. I mean, might be a bit severe for the slightly injured toe, but got to do what you got to do. End of the over, and 6 runs off it. 130 runs now needed for the Australians. And every time that they have an over like that, it does mean that they get just that little bit closer to being able to chase down that West Indian total. The target was 216. Shamar Joseph just getting the swap shirt. He wasn't wearing his shirt originally. We've got a drinks break here for the Australians. Will be a lot of those today, mainly because of the extreme heat that the sides are playing. And good night, good morning. Did you get a good night's rest? Have a blessed day to the West Indies to win. We had to bat for at least 2 days, says Patrick. I didn't get the best night's sleep, I'll be honest. It was very short because I did have to get up and edit 2 sevens videos in the morning, plus get everything set up for the streams today. So I might have got 5 hours if I'm lucky, somewhere around there, maybe 3. No, not quite 3. I'd say 4 or 5 hours. What we're running off at the moment. Alzarri Joseph will be replacing Kumar Roach. Actually deciding to switch what ends, a good twist. An India versus England match here. It's actually very impressive what we have seen from England. Ollie Pope has got them well and truly back into that match. And it means that there are still a few more twists and turns to come later on. And everyone says Vaughan. Welcome in, mate. Yeah, currently England are sitting 347 for 7. Recent wicket falling earlier on in the day. But it wasn't Ollie Pope, who still sits 163 not out. Alzarri Joseph, nice on drive from Cam Green. This will be at least 2 runs with Roach chasing after it. Do they want the third? Yes, they do. Good running between the wickets. That is now the second 3 that Cam Green has had to run within 2 overs. It'll be very fatiguing for a man who is also fighting sickness at the moment, but just full face of the bat for the on drive. Didn't have to overhit it, just had to time it. And use Alzarri Joseph's pace to your advantage. Like I said, just a forward defensive push there. 127 runs required now for the Australians. And Steve Smith, 5 away from his half century. Plays it off the back foot, slightly shorter from Alzarri Joseph. This partnership slowly building towards 50. They'll be right. Poor millionaire having to run a bit. Says the house. Yeah, he's taking some deep breaths. To be fair, when I run at 2, I am absolutely exhausted. That's because I'm extremely unfit. Which, of course, is unlike Cam Green, the Australians, and also this West Indies side, extremely well conditioned, which you have to be when you're playing in the kind of heat that they have been throughout this test match. Short ball, ducking under it for Steve Smith. Picked it up early. Australia win, and yeah, don't know squat about cricket, says Simi Souza, but yeah, at the moment Australia, they are in a very good position to go on to win this test match. But it's more of the question of what kind of impact can the West Indies have to try and throw that off. Partnership of 47, so a boundary would take them to the 50-run partnership. Already 3 runs off this over. Who's a cheeky monkey? Keelan, Jakayla, Brett, 2, Lee, Reed, Harrison, Corey, and T. Ahuya. I couldn't tell you, Ollie. You'll know them way better than me. One of them's your girlfriend, so I'm sure you will be the only man who knows if she is a cheeky monkey. But that is going to be a 4 through the slip cordon, off the edge. That'll be frustrating for the West Indies because they finally entice a false shot from Steve Smith. But just goes through the gap. Would have just fallen short, I believe. These days of cricket, physical cardio training, way different, say 10 or 20 years. So here's Nazir Williams. Yeah, they have to be pretty fit to be able to play. I think they also have to pass a fitness test to even be able to take part in a test match. Joseph disappointed with his bright yellow watch. I quite like that watch, only because it's yellow though. 51-run partnership between Steve Smith and Cam Green. And speaking of 50s, Smith on strike. Missed that one down the leg side. That does not happen too often. What's your age? I am 24. Some people think I look way older. Some people think I look younger. But I certainly feel older. The old days cardio test was done at the pub. And how fast you could consume beers, says Porto. Yeah. I mean, David Boone, he'd probably finish it. I don't know whether or not he'd have a drink during the drinks break, but after the match, he'd certainly get a few down him. This has been quite an important partnership for the Australians because of those 2 early wickets of Usman Khawaja as well as Marnus Labuschagne. And Steve Smith, he got sent back. It would have been an extremely tight run had they taken it. Smith is disappointed. He doesn't like when he's the one who's told no. Much prefers when the opposition or the man at the other end tells him yes. These days it's climate test. Based on your knowledge of zero net carbon emissions, the Paris Agreement, says Porto, is it possible the Windies still have a chance? A very thin one, but they do still have a slight chance. And never brought Smith's crocodile tears regarding Sandpaper Gate. Glad he won't captain ever again, says the house. And stating the obvious, but you can tell in the builds as well. Look way stronger. Hardly any David Boone popka, says Nazi Williams. And England versus India or Australia versus West Indies, which is more entertaining, says Shashank. Well, I mean, I've watched this test match the whole way through. I've only seen clips of England versus India. So I would go with this test match, the one that we have covered completely. Windies going to get pumped, says Porto. Now Shamar Joseph into the bowling attack. He is in pain. He's bowled that one not too badly though. Side of off stump, Cam Green has to get onto the back foot to play it. And to be honest, Shamar Joseph is the guy that could get the breakthrough. Just showing the toe getting busted up. Mitchell Stark bowled the Yorker and hit him right on the end of the toe. It wasn't even on the top. Toe getting driven back. There was blood coming from the foot as well for Shamar Joseph. That's a very good ball. 137 Ks right on the money. Cam Green no option but to just do the forward defensive. They are saying it is the back foot. Your favourite match of all time? Tell you what, there's been a few good ones, of course, which is why we love cricket, of course. I wouldn't know Joseph bowled so well with a prosthetic leg. Amputation overnight is very speedy, says the house. It might be the gout, and Steve Smith was the victim. He merely found the sandpaper and it got stuck to his hands. And while he had the ball great on drive, no run taken. And because he's such an honest and good guy, he took the fall. Those tears were real, says Porto there. 123 runs required here for the Australians. See, it still looks painful for Shamar Joseph, even though we know that he is continuing this match. Anytime he puts impact on that foot, it's got to be painful. Almost the chance for the West Indies goes too high. I think Greaves reacted quite late. That could have been the chance. 4 runs, though, goes to Cam Green. Some crucial runs for the Australians. But Shamar Joseph, this was close. Entices the drive. Greaves was late. Reacting to it, I think he will be disappointed not to have got the hand up to that one. Maybe thought it was going a little bit higher. Not for Sandpaper Gate, Steve Smith would have overtaken Bradman, says Porto. Yeah, I think with Greaves' height, I think he could have possibly got the hand to it. Now nicely pitched up again. A run taken off the 5th ball of the over, but Shamar Joseph, he's had a interesting test match, mainly because he hasn't been allowed the opportunity to bat as much as he normally would. It was a no ball, though, from Shamar Joseph, so that was actually not the 5th ball of the over. Straight into his work, though, hitting 140 for the Ks. Now 118 for the Aussies. Pitched up, driven down the ground. That will be 4 runs. Fantastic shot from Cam Green. I would almost say shot of the day so far. Just with the timing, the sound that it made off the bat. The pace of the ball, of course, helped make it drive forward, and that would be so impressive. I should put on a defensive masterclass and block everything for the rest of the day, says Porto. I think the interesting part is Cam Green looked up at the sky before the start of this over, and he looked slightly nervous. So I think what he was thinking is maybe the rain is coming sooner than they want, so they have to get the runs when they're available. Takes the single off the last ball of the over, so he will retain the strike. Steve Smith still anchored at the other end on 49 runs Green moves up to 33, and the Australians are on 103 for 2. I love seeing shots like 15 runs of 140 deliveries. Defensive displays like that are incredible. Well, you need to watch Pajara, because he is a master at that kind of play. And whose shot of the day? It would have been good to see. Check it out on the highlights. So here's Nazzy Williams. But yeah, very nice shot. Just perfectly elbow in position, driving through the ball, weight transfer, all that good stuff. The picture perfect drive down the ground. And he timed it that well that there was no chance for the man at mid-off to even get close. It'd be great if they got Smith out just after his 50, says Simran. Question, why just after? Why not before? He's only got one run though to go, doesn't he? So I feel like he will be able to get there theoretically. Not a lot of time remaining till he gets that 50. Cam Green now taking another single. Punches it through a gap, but well fielded by Brathwaite to keep it at 1. I forgot about the storms and the rain. I need to throw playbook out the window and hammer down. As we do not want no damn Duckworth Lewis robbery, says Bordeaux. And can't be the sound of the call in the middle of the bat. Or the ball in the middle of the bat. Fantastic sound, because it will shatter his ego, says Simran. I think one thing we've learned about Steve Smith is he still is pretty happy with himself no matter what happens. An half century shouldn't save a spot for Smith. Yeah, he does need 100 here just to have him as a consistent top order option for them, I would say. A moment, we'll go like that. Like that. That ball is left alone, so he's still on 49. Doesn't seem to be in a hurry at the moment, Steve Smith, to get to that half century. He's kind of accepted that he has to wait for the right ball. Can he pick the ball, though, to go after here? I should mention the rain. We will give you another weather report. Currently still the same. 60% chance at 3, and then 80% chance at 4 p.m. local time. So for now, the rain is staying away. But Steve Smith on 49. We wanted the single. Cam Green was ready to run if he wanted it. No run taken. And this is really good from the West Indies to keep him on 49 and just thinking about it. And I Test cricket is alive and well, says Stanley. And how did Bailey get Chiefs selector? Cricket Australia is biased, says the house. 85 balls. Smith isn't showing too many laps of judgment. F off rain. Down one an early night. Or we want an early night, says Nazzy Williams. Short ball left alone by Smith again. Well, that's the thing. If the cricket ends early, I might get pizza tonight, which would be very happy times for me. But, of course, that would... no, actually, now that I think about it, I might not get pizza. In terms of time that I've got free compared to times that I have got not free. Of course, we've still got the 7s that goes all throughout the night. It would be funny to hear it on the stump mic. I wonder why players don't yell stuff out when they hammer a bowler for 6 or 4. I feel the power of my blade. I am the power. D's nuts, says Porto. Now, once again, another dot ball. Well, we had a scenario in our game that we played. We actually got it on GoPro. One of our batsmen, I don't know why he did it, but pretty much he was facing a left arm leg spinner. And he got the better of a couple of our team, but then he bowled a big full toss to the guy for our team. And our team's player advanced, hit him down the ground for 4 from the full toss, and he yelled, "Get that S word out of here." And then he went out not too long after, but he tried to sledge a little bit. Oh, that's at the pad of Smith, I think. Well bowled. Smith waving. He's trying to get the attention. He wants new gloves. He's feeling like these ones aren't good enough to get him one more run here. So he needs a different pair. They aren't feeling right. He's worn them for about 20 balls, and now they feel weird. What a legend, says Bordeaux. They should be encouraged more. The moment Hodge. We're just showing They're just showing Hodge. He was having a conversation with the stump mic earlier on. I think that was yesterday. Now he's having a chat with the robot. They were showing it before the game. Especially against the fast bowlers. Get them. All fired up. You see which batsmen haven't been doing work in the net, says Porto. But only do it if you've been bowled out, says Porto there. And risk it and get the pizza for tea. We'll see. We'll see. We've got 2 live streams, of course, to take us through to about 7 p.m. Then we've got a 40-minute break, but that is not enough time to get where we need to get. So I think it would be... Yeah, it would depend on the time. And earlier on, Hodge was using one of his teammates' bald heads as a mirror. I think that's actually one of the coaches. Cam Green is playing very well despite being 6, says Daytime TV. A nice drive again out through cover. It's be another 2 runs. Throw the rest of the team under the bus while your safety on the sidelines having beers. There's Porto and Lowell says Nazi Williams. He moves up to 36. He might actually hit 50 before Steve Smith if this continues at this rate. Because at the moment, Steve Smith has not been able to get that last round or that last run that he is after. Now Joseph, that's going to be nicely played off the back foot and just keep Smith on 49. There's Simran there. Yeah, I mean, the longer he's on 49, the more it will frustrate him, which will eventually... Oh, it's another no ball from Shamara Joseph. Unfortunately, the more runs that they concede like that, of course, the closer Australia get to being able to close out this test match with the victory. Weather report still has a 60% chance that it's going to rain in 7 minutes' time. And Smith is such a team man, helping Green to get those runs. So really, Smith is on 85 and Green's still on a duck. There's Porto. I'm impressed with your quick maths. Nice drive from Cam Green. He will more than likely end up with 3 runs here. Although Chanderpaul has got there. Big call and no. And they'll just take the 2. Pope closing in on the 200. Smith wants to hit a 6, says Stanley. He definitely want to go after it. See, Smith, he doesn't mind the challenge and the battle when he's out there on the field. Should mention, more than likely, we will not see a new ball for the West Indies. They will only get through to maybe about 60 overs if the Australians are able to chase this one down. And one day Green will be able to say Smith carried him to a test 50, says Porto. But something that does really help is running between the wickets, and these 2 have done that pretty well. Nice shot from Cam Green. Cut through backward point. That'll be another 4 runs for them. They won't be able to chase that ball down. And Cam Green, this has become a very expensive over from Shamar Joseph. In fact, he's bowled 10 balls and gone for 19 runs. Good day, Kiwi lads. I'm from the Caribbean. Shamar Joseph, very overrated, says Aliasa, although it's very hard to tell if he's overrated or not because he's only played 2 test matches. First test match, he got a 5 and also second highest run scorer for the West Indies in the first innings. This test match, he's been struggling. He's gone for a few more runs, but yeah, I don't think there's enough information on him to be able to call him over or underrated, seeing as he's only played less than 2 test matches in cricket. Oh, he's just bowled Cam Green, so that is his answer back to that one. Green has been dismissed, 42 of 72 balls. So he's had a blinder, now he's having a shocker, says Porto. Boom, he's just got the wicket. There we have got there. One day Green will be able to say, oh no, I read that one. And Q says, Richard, I feel like that was the best jinx you could have given him, Al Yasser. And you've now given the West Indies the breakthrough wicket that they required. And yeah, it's just jumped up off the surface. He put the mocker on Green and cost him a century. And plays for Brisbane in Guyana. He gets a lot of 6s, I assume that is, from Al Yasser. Although bowling in short format, you're always going to go for a lot of runs. You got to remember, even some of the best bowlers in the world in T20 do get hit for multiple. And where are the mods? Ban that guy, says Porto. In there. And yeah, wicket, says Simran. So they haven't got the wicket of Steve Smith, but they did pick up the wicket of Cam Green, who was progressing quite nicely. It was a slightly shorter ball. It's actually popped up off the surface. It's hit Cam Green, I believe, on the arm and then come down in his stumps. So played on from Cam Green. It's the wicket they needed. Fluke wicket, says Porto there. I mean, a wicket's a wicket. Alex Carey had his bail turned around. It didn't fall off, so he was still in the middle. I respect you pronounced my name correct, says Al Yassar. And also we have got there, they got to get Smith out now. Need to check the cameras for sandpaper, says Porto, and Shamar is pure pace. And good morning, says Rakesh. Welcome in, mate. You are doing extremely well. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to leave a like on this live stream, ladies and gents. We got plenty more coming up in the near future, including the rest of this test match, which could end very soon, or it could end a bit further down the line. But Travis Head, he got a golden duck in his first innings. He's got one ball to face of Shamar Joseph. It's looking very dark and dingy off to the side of the Gabba. Australia, they might still be of the mindset of try and get this done early, get it out of the way so that they don't have to worry about the rain when it does start falling. Hamish, I got to pronouncing other ethnicities' names. Head a man and great stream. I'll be back. I'm going to go to Coles, get food for dinner. Says Porto there. Be sure to get a mango. Only because, like, here we can't really get them unless they're like $10. Come on, hat trick. Says the house round the wicket. Alzari. He's bowled him. Travis Head 2 in a row. He's gone for the golden duck. And that has changed the game now for the West Indies. Shamar Joseph knocks Travis Head's stumps out of the ground. Al Yassar, I think you well and truly jinxed Shamar Joseph. And also, Head is no test player, says the house. I disagree. He gets a lot of runs. He's just being bowled by a clean Yorker there from Shamar Joseph. Don't question from a cricket newbie, but what is a golden duck? That is, you go out first ball rather than just a duck. Who's that clown who put the mockers on us? Says Porto. And also, mangoes were like $4 or $3.99 at New World last week. Says Simran. See, the last time I checked, they were about $8, so I went off them. And go on, rain start now, says Porto. And go on, got him, dear and high, says Levi. And also, woo, Windies go, F off rain, says, was there from Nazi. And hooray, says Stanley. And rain, hurry up, says Porto in there. And 3/3 duck for Head and 2 tests. And also pace and power, 100% pace. What is going on in this test match? There's another late turn by the looks of it. Okay, now we've got the drinks break, so that will slow down the momentum just a little bit here. For the West Indies, Smith can get 50. Will he also get out? Says Randeep. And there as well, an off with Head's head, says the house. And come on, crowd, do the rain dance, says Porto. I mean, Smith at the other end, he'll be sitting there very nervous at the moment because everyone's falling at the other end. Well, we will go like that. And like that, there we go. I'm just going to quickly check in with the sevens and make sure that that match isn't going to be starting as of yet. Of course, we have got a match in 10 minutes that we are covering for the sevens. It's really unfortunate timing because, to be honest, I thought that it was going to be raining now. So I assumed that we would be able to cover the sevens without any problems. But now there's so much going on. There's wickets falling for Shamar Joseph. There are no raindrops falling at this current point, and pressure on Aussie now, says Al Yassar. And also the Otago Lowlanders, says Porto. And overrated, huh? Says Stanley. I think that comment of saying he was overrated has now made him go up to 110% and just absolutely steam in, picking up important wickets. Yeah, the Lowlanders are overrated, says Porto. And Shamar Joseph is getting 5 more in this win. My life still on the wager. Shout out to the Kiwi. Lad, you're doing an awesome job, says Jonathan. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. And you need the other lads. I do. Unfortunately, I'm currently still the lone wolf. I've been trying to get someone else to do one of the games for me while I do the other one, but sadly, it's just me. And it's important to win the test there, says Rakesh. And they're talking about it. Shamar Joseph is on a hat trick. So, of course, even if Argentina versus Ireland is about to start in the sevens, we are still going to make sure that we cover that hat-trick ball for Shamar Joseph. Don't disrespect the Highlanders, thank you very much. Exactly right. They already do that to themselves when you see them play. I'm joking, of course. They'll be better sometime. Now Shamar Joseph. It's gone from 2 balls, or 2 wickets, to 4 wickets. A big smile from Shamar Joseph gives the thumbs up to the Rover. Who did the GOAT in your humble opinion? Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi? Well, one of them's got a World Cup, the other one doesn't, so that normally puts people in favour of Messi. Like, both of them phenomenal in the footballing world, but yeah, it's a hard one. Like, they're both really good. It's like trying to compare a batter and a bowler in a way. Like, both have their own individual skills. And Mitchell Marsh is going to be at the non-strikers end. Steve Smith still awaiting to try and bring up his 50. It's going to be Greaves bowling. I think Smith might go after this ball here, if it's the chance. Pitched up. No run taken again. How long has Steve Smith been stuck on 49? So cheeky there, the team I've grown up supporting. I'm loyal, so up the Landers, says Simran there. Marsh is out of form, says Porto. Yeah, this game is not over yet. Those 2 quick wickets have completely changed the game. But Travis had 2 golden ducks. Not what you expect to see for a man of that level. Now Shamar Joseph. Oh, Steve Smith went after that one on the leg side. Couldn't hit it. He's frustrated with himself as Greaves pretty much gave him the freebie to get his 50 and Steve Smith not able to take the opportunity. The frustration starting to set in for the Aussie co-captain. Yeah, very close to the glove of Steve Smith, not being able to pick it up as quickly as he would have liked. The rain is not falling as of yet, but it is still supposed to be relatively close, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting darker at the ground now, I've just noticed, though. From that wide angle. Smith. And Kiwi lads, you know O'Shane Thomas. Bowls 150Ks and 155, very fast though. Says Aliasar. Yeah, there's a few guys at the moment around the cricketing world who are getting it down at 150, which is, of course, extremely impressive. Driven, that is the 4. Well batted Steve Smith. He has been the anchor in an innings where they've needed him. It hasn't actually gone for 4, my apologies. They will get back for the 3. And that means that the hat-trick ball could end up being Shamar Joseph to Steve Smith. There's a chance that becomes a reality. Mitchell Marsh, he was scoring some quick runs in his first innings up until he did try and play the pull shot off a straight delivery. Didn't time it one bit. And did end up getting caught at mid-wicket. I'm quickly going to go like this and this. We are just writing out our little thing that will be popping up on the screen a little bit later on when we do pop away to the 7s. Over 140Ks is fast, nicely pulled away by Marsh. It's going to be a foot race here out wide for Motti. He's misfielded and it goes all the way for 4. Looks like he might have hurt himself in the process there, Motti, although I think it is just more of the fact that he is frustrated. That is 7 runs now off 2 balls. Australia bringing it down under the 100. Be interesting here because Mitch Marsh will try and take it to the West Indies and try and score a quick fire 50 here to put it well and truly into the favour of the Australians. Mitch Marsh, 1 ball to go of this over. So like I said a little bit ago, ladies and gentlemen, we will leave the live stream running while we are away doing the commentary for the 7s. Oh, half a chance for Greaves. Full short. Very good fielding. So the hat-trick ball now, Shamar Joseph, where his test bowling career all started against Steve Smith. He picked him up for the first ball that he ever bowled to him. Can he pick him up for the hat-trick ball? Do you watch CPL Caribbean Premier League? I don't watch it as much as I want to. It's actually a competition I really want to be able to watch every game for, but the time zones do heard a little bit. Good morning, sir. Nice commentary from India, says Abhishek in the chat as well. This is getting too interesting, this part. I'm heavily considering delaying, or at least waylaying that other stream that I was going to be doing, but it's a hat-trick ball now for Shamar Joseph to Steve Smith. Slips in the gully up packed. Shamar Joseph tries the Yorker. It's whipped off the pads of Steve Smith, and it will be the single down to Roach. Good morning, sir. Says Abhishek can also surely get him out at over 120 is medium fast, over 100 or over 90 Ks is medium. Says LJ the man there. But searching for the pads of Smith, and to be fair to Shamar Joseph, the ball was a good one. Would have hit the stumps, which is normally the minimum that you want for a hat-trick ball. You want to make sure it is making it difficult for the batsman. Well bowled. Another single taken by Mitch Marsh. The Australians only trailing by 94. So for anyone who is confused about what our plan is, pretty much we are going to be commentating the sevens on the channel, but this live stream will still be running. We will still have the scoreboard ticking over so you can see exactly what the score is. And then in about, I would say, 40 minutes or so, we will be back and we will be continuing the commentary for this test match as it progresses. The rain is staying away just for now, which is great news. Although, by the looks of it, it says that it's now no longer a chance of rain during this hour. Looks like it is going to be relatively nice till about maybe 4 p.m. local time. 3 dot balls, or sorry, 3 singles coming off of Shamar Joseph. Hi, Hamish says Ollie is the best. Welcome in. You are doing very well indeed. They said Shamar Joseph to still be bowling at this pace with either a broken or injured toe is extremely impressive for him. Another straight delivery. He's really getting it up there in the difficult channels. 144 Ks for Shamar Joseph. West Indies at the moment, they've got their tails up a little bit. Yes, that last over did go for 7, but 1 wicket here, and all of a sudden Australia will find it quite difficult to get to where they need to be. Now, the fact that it is under 100 runs required gives the advantage firmly in the favour of the Australians. Shall I mention anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Yeah, greatly appreciative of all of the support you guys have been showing. Plus, we have got the ODI and T20 series for the West Indies versus Australia that we are covering on the channel as well. So if you are new, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now, 1 ball remaining of this Shamar Joseph over. Then we do have to pop away for around that 40 minutes like I mentioned. But we will be back after that, ready to go at the times that we have got written down the bottom there. Left alone by Mitchell Marsh outside of off stump. And that is the end of the over. It is now 123 for 4. What we will do is we will put some background music for you ladies and gentlemen as well, just to give you something to listen to while we are away. And we will be back in around, like I said, that 40 minutes for some more commentary on this live stream. Right, ladies and gentlemen, a lot has happened since we popped away. We've come back and the Aussies are 7 down. Most recent wicket of all, Mitchell Starc, just before the lunch break. But I think the perfect statement is there from Sports Lab. They need the wicket of Steve Smith. If they can get Steve Smith's wicket, I would put the West Indies in the box seat to win this one. But Australia, they only require 45 more runs. But the West Indies, they are actually favourites to go on and win this test match now. But I think they can only become true favourites when Steve Smith goes out. We are back now, of course, for the rest of this session, ladies and gentlemen. I said 3 balls is all that the West Indies need. Starc kind of threw his wicket away. He may have a little bit, but at the same time, he was able to score quite a few runs in the process, and I feel like that was probably the more important side of things for the West Indies. He was able to get himself the quick fire. I think he got 20-something, didn't he? 21 in the end. But Alzarri Joseph bowling. Oh, what a peach. That is to Pat Cummins. I have no idea how that has missed the off stump. But the West Indies, they have got their tails up at the moment. And they can feel history starting to hit them. Last time the West Indies won a test match in Australia, it was 1997. I was not born. I probably wasn't even thought about. I don't know how that missed the outside edge of Pat Cummins and the stumps as well. And it was the oldest out of Charlie, Aaron, Martin, Matt and Charlie. You will know much better than me, mate. But, you know, Alzarri Joseph, 4 balls remaining in his over. Short ball to Cummins, who managed to evade it. And how fast is Joseph bowling? He's getting them down there at 140, that being Alzarri Joseph. Shamar Joseph's quickest delivery, I believe, is clocked in at around 144.5 Ks. And I have to say here, there was a comment made earlier on. I'm sorry to bring it up, but I kind of want to. And I feel like Al Yasser won't mind me doing this. But there was the comment made. One moment, we're going to find it. Here we go. This comment, uppish, but doesn't carry. Shamar Joseph is very overrated, was the comment made. Since that comment was made, Shamar Joseph went into beast mode and has taken 5 wickets in 7 overs. Yes, he's gone for a lot of runs, but he's also got those wickets that were much needed. If people did not know about a young man named Shamar Joseph, now the world knows who he is, says Imran there. And every bowler should get their toe crushed, guarantee 5 wickets in a day. Do you think Smith will get a century? I don't think so. I think he'll be just short, to be honest. Like, Cummins can also score runs, we've got to remember. And he will look to be a little bit attacking at times. But Steve Smith, oh, no, I take that back. Steve Smith, if he bats out this innings, he will get his 100 because he only needs another 29 of the 44. Do you think he will be in the IPL? I hope not. Like, that's a tricky thing, right? I hope that he gets a lot of success throughout his career, but I also don't want him to get taken away to another league that we don't get to see him play test match cricket because, you know, a lot of great players have been drawn away from test match cricket for the West Indies, and it does hurt their team in terms of depth. Now Alzadi Joseph, last ball of the over. Cummins squared up, and he will take the single. Australia willing to take runs when they are available. 1 more over remaining here before the end of the session. I have to say, the rain staying away is absolutely phenomenal for the chance of a result here. It's supposed to be 70% chance of rain currently, followed by 80%, and the rain just seems to be dodging the Gabba. Because after Test Series, he'll be going to Dubai to play the T20 League. Says Imran there. You see a little smug there, Hamish. I mean, that's the thing though. Like I said when that comment was first made, it's very hard to know because I feel like we can't overrate and we can't underrate Shamar Joseph at the moment because he has only... I've just had the realisation, if Australia get bowled out very soon, how much would those extra 22 runs in the first innings that they declared impact the outcome? That is another scenario to think about. But yeah, I said that we haven't seen enough of him to know if he's overrated or underrated at this point. We've seen 5 wickets falling here though. Oh, call of no from Pat Cummins, but then Steve Smith scampered him through. Australia will win, but very good comeback, West Indies, says Akash. Yeah, I mean, the ex-Australian cricketer saying that the West Indies shouldn't have to, the Australians shouldn't have to bother playing the West Indies because they beat them easily. I mean, this test match is possibly the best showing that Australia may have underestimated this Windies side just a little bit. The percentage of rain is for how much of the land is going to get the rain, so like 30% and 20% of the land won't see rain. It's going to be nicely worked away. I heard that theory is actually wrong though, because I have heard that theory before, but someone said that they were from a very small area and they can see 100% of the area, and it said it was 100% raining. Or sorry, it was, yeah, something along those lines, but they said that wasn't correct. But it could be. Who knows? At the end of the day, weather reports aren't correct anyway, are they? Piper scored 196, and now Shamar Joseph has already taken 5 wickets. 3 wickets to win for the West Indies. Charges in, outside edge, taken by De Silva. And the West Indies now, with Shamar Joseph, have got back into this match. Out, says the house. I think you were a little bit too soon, so if you can avoid putting it in before we react, it is greatly appreciated. But that will now be the lunch break, ladies and gentlemen. And the West Indies are pulling off what would be regarded as one of the best comebacks in recent times if they can pull off the win. We were asking ourselves, is 216 enough? 99% of people said no. We saw Shamar Joseph's toe get busted open by Mitchell Stark. But now, the West Indies with just 2 wickets remaining to take. It is the lunch break here. It's all on, ladies and gentlemen. Pat Cummins, he's normally the man who has the captain's knock, and unfortunately he's thrown away that wicket. It was just a fantastic ball, though, from Shamar Joseph. And I'm GC Stanley. I think, hang on. The plot thickens. I believe because they took that wicket, they are allowed to take the extra the extra 30 minutes. I think it's been taken, which means this session is not over, ladies and gentlemen. And we will still have another 30 minutes of cricketing action, I think, if I'm correct. See, I always thought if the wicket was taken just after 7 or just after the session ends, that it would end up being the lunch break. You support which country or neutral? I am neutral for this game, although I have to say it is absolutely incredible to see what the West Indies have done here in this test match. They have proved a lot of the naysayers wrong. They have shown that they do deserve to compete here up against the Australians. 7.3 overs, 6 wickets for Shamar Joseph. Talk about turning a game around. Mitchell Stark will be wishing he well and truly broke his toe yesterday, because Shamar Joseph is on top of the world on cloud 9. Nathan Lyon makes his way to the middle, and this session is extended, ladies and gentlemen, I believe. 2 wickets for the Windies, 41 runs for the Australians, but Steve Smith is still at the crease. Nice drive from Nathan Lyon, gets the single. And some decision making has to be made by Steve Smith. What does he do? Does he go aggressive and try and finish this game quickly? Or does he instead... Interestingly enough, the West Indies are still underdogs to win this test match. $3.45 underdogs to go on and win it. I can't believe that. Still 2 wickets. Surely... Oh no, now they're $1.88. I was going to say... You can't have them as that much of an underdog when they're 2 wickets away with a tail end. And only Steve Smith can win for Australia. Now he tries the cut shot and he's missed the ball there. Steve Smith, 146 Ks. Shamar Joseph is steaming into the crease. And only Steve Smith can win Australia now, says Sudeep. And I thought when it's 9 wickets, says Stanley. I thought as well, but maybe because of the fact that there is rain in the forecast, as well as the fact that Australia only need 40 runs, maybe both sides at a neutral agreement. West Indies' last win in Australia was by 10 wickets. That was at the Wacker in 1997, like I said. It's been so long. The toe injury to Shamar Joseph has saved Australia. He would have ripped through them before. I disagree. I think that's fired him up to the next level that he needed to be at. Whereas Brad Hodge, will be eating his words at the moment. Of course, he'll be eating them even more if the West Indies can pull off the win. But that is going to be the end of Shamar Joseph's over. West Indies needing 2 wickets to finish the job. Australia needing 40 runs. West Indies' probability of win is now 50%. Now, I will mention, ladies and gentlemen, because I am watching on Sky Sport now, there is a slight delay. Now, I beg, please, if you are ahead, please do not say that there is a wicket, and please do not say that someone is out up until the wicket has been reacted to by myself, just because I like to read the chat as much as I can. But if it is going to show spoilers, then that means that I won't be able to read it as much. 8 overs in a row. He's getting quicker is incredible, says Mikel. Yes, showing extreme heart here. And get Lyon out, says Jeff. Yeah, Nathan Lyon. Of course, if they can get through him, they've got Josh Hazlewood as the last batsman, who didn't actually get a bat in the first innings. Oh, it looks like Shamar Joseph, is he done for the day? If he comes out of the bowling attack, I think that Australia will get the runs. But if Shamar Joseph can keep on digging deep, late playing that one, put them in a timeout. That's all well and good, putting them in a timeout after they've said it. But unfortunately, with this situation, it means that because there's only 2 wickets to fall, we can put them in a timeout, but then they still would have spoiled that wicket, if that makes sense. Steve Smith is the only hope, says ran deep, and yeah, at the moment, Nathan Lyon has got strike. And to try and stop the tail from falling for the Australians. We saw the West Indies tail fall over in their second innings. But in the first innings, we did see a lot of runs coming for the Windies tail end. Lyon on strike. Leaves that one alone, gets out from underneath it. I should also mention Nathan Lyon has one of the nicest straight drives you will see from a tail-ender in world cricket today. And he is young Shamar. They need to stretch him out till the very end. And definitely because at the end of the day, this is the last test match. This is the last session that they will be playing. So at the end of the day, they're still going to go for it. And they've got to try and say to him, look, we know your foot's pretty broken, but we want you to finish this match for us, and you're doing extremely well. 6 wickets already for Shamar Joseph. What do you think? Can Smith be the hero for Australia today? There's so many stories that could come from this test match. This young, inexperienced West Indies team pulling off the impossible and beating Australia. At the start of this test match, they had a 3% chance of winning. Now, they sit here at this stage of the match with the chance of winning. A moment, we're just going to get the exact number. Their chance of winning at the moment is, it's only 51%. I thought it would have been higher, to be honest. Nicely whipped to the leg side from Nathan Lyon. They'll get 2 runs here, and they need to take every run that is available. Azari Joseph's supposed to be resting for the white ball series, says Imran. And also, it is currently 2:06 a.m. here in the Caribbean, and it is greatly appreciated, every single one of you, for tuning into the stream. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to be back with plenty more of the West Indies cricket and Australia's in the future. So yeah, if you do want to help us out and hit that subscribe button, it is so greatly appreciated. We've been doing over 30 hours of commentating over the last 4 days. It's been a lot of fun, and the fun has not finished yet. Cut shot there from Lyon. Gets it down to the man at deep third man. Well fielded by Shamar Joseph. That'll be just the single there. Means that Steve Smith has 1 ball to face. Australia need 37 runs to win. We are getting closer and closer to the end of this game by the minute, ladies and gentlemen. And England will not be winning the Cricket World Cup in the Caribbean because you see what happened in England, or to England in December, says Imran. And there as well. But Australia, they are $1.83 at the moment for the odds that they are paying in this matchup. Chance of a draw is extremely slim. I'll bowled again. That'll be the end of the over. 2 wickets still needed. And West Indies won by 11 runs. Says Rashad as the prediction. Okay, so they're still a little way off that, of course, which means that we've still got plenty more action. So they can continue playing, and I believe they can actually take an extra. Did somebody say Shamar Joseph was overrated? They did. Right near the start of this session, they did. I'm going to quickly, now, don't worry about the name, I will say. So ignore the name, but there, Shamar Joseph is very overrated. At that moment, he had 0 wickets to his name and had gone for 19 runs off 2 overs. But then he got 6 wickets and turned it around. Here comes Shamar Joseph for his 9th over in a row. Can he get the breakthrough? It looks like he's starting to limp a little bit here, Shamar Joseph. But now, tell you what, he's just striding in big time down the leg side. And Nathan Lyon does not get on to 144 Ks being shown by Joseph. Some good pace. And like someone said, the fact that this is humid conditions, 28 degrees Celsius, and he has sped up each and every time he is bowled, gets that a little bit quicker. Still walking on those toes, though, for Shamar Joseph. Steve Smith, 28 runs away from a century, which would have been his first opening the batting. Lyon on strike. 2 runs off 7 pitched up. Great straight drive from Nathan Lyon. I mentioned about the skill and the precision. Oh, they turned down 2. Steve Smith says no. Lyon wanted it. Interesting. It would have been a little bit tight. Aussie being robbed here. In what way, Porto? It should be T. No, I think both sides had to agree to the extra 30 minutes. Possibly because they are 2 wickets away. So I think Australia... Oh, no, I'm not sure what would have happened, actually. I think because we are so close to the end of this match and it is only 2 wickets, West Indies did have the option of either continuing or ending. Steve Smith pulled away to the leg side. Another single. Shamar Joseph and the ancestor came up for Windies. And I was like, come on, let's go. Windies wickets. Says it Simran there. "45 overs old. The ball is almost... And I have no idea who's going to win this test match. Here's the end of the end for the Windies. As Aussie come back with a magic win, says Porto. And so someone earlier on, they asked the question, what has your favourite test match been? This one's starting to get up there. Definitely if it comes down to like 1 wicket needed with 10 runs to get for Australia, like that kind of environment and that kind of pressure is just, that's what makes Test match cricket. And yes, we are only sitting on day 4, and people will complain that they aren't on day 5 yet. Short bowling, I think, is about to come for Shamar Joseph. Nathan Lyon on strike, and Shamar Joseph around the wicket. Lyon goes after it. It's in the air, but it falls safe. He does like to play the pull shot. Nathan Lyon, Steve Smith looks at him a little bit frustrated as if to say, mate, that wasn't part of the plan. We don't go to dinner with this much tension in this match, says Jeff. And it'll be cruelty in this game now. I think they should try to get Lyon instead of Smith, and that seems like the tactic that they are actually trying. They're bowling the short balls to him. Day 5 isn't worth it. Says CC. Smith needs to take more of the strike. He's hiding down the other end, exposing the tail. Says Porto, but Shamar Joseph almost had his 7th wicket. Do you think Australia can keep their nerve and still get that 34 runs without losing 2 wickets? These are the questions that we have to ask, but a tight one. Another single taken by Steve Smith. In fact, that is timed very well, but 2 men deep to be able to cover it. Another single. 4 singles off this over, off the first 5 balls. Just the 1 ball remaining now. So Nathan Lyon, more than likely, he'll want to be on strike. Him and Joshua Da Silva just having a bit of a laugh to each other. Love to know what was being said. Nathan Lyon went from smiling to serious extremely quickly, though. As if something hit the nerve and he said, nah, you're not allowed to say that. Cricket Australia need to get in touch with these protesters from the other day and express entry them into the ground so they can halt the game until the rain comes. So here's Porto. Running in again. Shamar Joseph, big Yorker down the leg side, and that'll be the end of the over. 183 for 8. If it was on the money and on the stumps, maybe could have been a different result. Oh, here we go. There are 2 more overs until the tea break. Get Lyon, says Jeff. So yeah, the tea break, it is still going to be taking place, but in 2 overs time. Although I don't know what happens if West Indies get another wicket. Oh, hang on. Okay. If the West Indies can get another wicket. Okay. So if the West Indies can get another wicket within these next 2 overs, they can extend it another 30 minutes. But I believe the way that he described it is it actually has to be within the next few balls for them to be able to extend the session more. Steve Smith's bat stood on by Da Silva there. He wasn't watching. Yeah, to be fair, he didn't see it. Steve Smith's bat, but didn't make Steve Smith too happy at all. Definitely not if he goes out now. If he went out here, he would probably blame Joshua Da Silva for standing on the bat. And get 2 overs, 2 wickets, let's go, says Jeff. And of course, if one of the wickets falls, they actually then get an extra 30 minutes to try and clean up the tail. Yeah, he was just chatting to Nathan Lyon. So it wasn't actually, he gives Steve Smith a hug as well and apologises about it. I think it put maybe a little sprig mark in the back of Steve Smith's bat. Azari Joseph short ball, that's very short. And it's called as a wide. And come on the Windies, get another one, says Simran there. And tell you what, the lunch break is going to feel like an eternity. That is for sure. If we have to wait through 40 minutes to then get to see the final result of this one, it's going to be frustrating. But it's going to be worth it. The payout for this test match at the moment, it's been so entertaining. And do you know who won the Perth semis? I do. So it is going to be Argentina versus Australia in the final. Fiji versus Ireland in the bronze final. Pitched up and left alone by Steve Smith. Steve Smith is in it. Is it really a tail? Well, that's the thing. It's only a tail from one end. And at times I'd even debate that Nathan Lyon, like he could bat, like he's got a great on drive, great pull shot. He does like to hit the pull shot in the air though. That does sometimes hurt him. Went past your place about 45 minutes ago. I would have tooted, but I don't think you would have heard me from the main highway, says Kiwi Gamer. And come on, guys, don't give away any more extras, says Jeff. And wow, says Hanoi. Now, Alzadi Joseph. You don't say in the space of a few hours that the South African women won their first ever against the Aussies and possibly the Windies, their first in Australia in nearly 3 decades. And also, Stop My Heart has broken that Fiji didn't make it to the final. Might need some ice cream to make me feel better. Ice cream is quite good. Pizza is also good, though. Although, I guess if you want something cold, cold pizza does go well, but it won't be cold if you just get it. Aussies always get over the line. It's what makes them champions. Hello, very nice commentary, says Mass by Anup. Thank you very much, mate. Now 3 balls remaining off the outside edge of Smith. And this will be another single, taking it down to 31 runs now required for the Australians. It's still a long way to go. Unless Smith should be aggressive. Colpisa is yum. And do we think the Windies will pull it off, says Austin? I'm going to be honest. Shamar Joseph has put them in a position that they actually could. Now, I don't want to jinx anything, which is why I hate saying whether I think they will or won't, because anytime I say something, the opposite happens. Like I say that they have a chance. Now Nathan Lyon will probably hit a boundary because I've said that. They have got the bat pad, the almighty, conquering all-powerful Aussie, says Porto, the World Test and One Day and T20 champions, says Porto there as well. And Argentina winning this final too, says Nikito. Sadi Joseph, 2 balls. To Nathan Lyon to clean him up, pitches it up. It's off the outside edge. Well fielded. And that is going to be absolutely crucial for the Windies in the final few overs of this test match. They have to make sure that they are defending the runs. Aussie should win, says Hanoi. Yeah, it still is a little way to go. And if it was 2 men, let's say it was Mitchell Starc and Nathan Lyon, then you'd say that West Indies have the advantage. But because Steve Smith is still there, you just know that he can pull off a miracle. West Indies win by 5 runs, says Stanley. Sharp, Nathan Lyon tries to work it to leg. No run taken, and that will be the end of the over. I think Cummins now regrets that declaration decision. He may, but only if Australia lose this test match. If they can pull it off and win, then he'll say that it was extremely strategic. They got the wicket of Chanderpaul in the evening session, and then we're still able to bowl out the Windies for 193. And I think this pitch has misbehaved a little bit more than a lot anticipated, because we are only day 4, and we're seeing a lot of movement off the surface. But anyone who is new to the channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are only 30 away from our next goal, so if you want to help us get there, it is very much appreciated if you hit that subscribe button. Shamar Joseph, this is now his 10th over in a row that he will be bowling. And this is the last over of the session if the West Indies cannot pick up a wicket. Joseph to Steve Smith, how it all started. Steve Smith takes the single. There was a bit of hesitation there from Nathan Lyon, but Steve Smith knows that these runs are so important that they can't afford to turn them down. Comes as a hero, he declares early to reduce the team's net carbon emissions. Says Porto, get a wicket, says Simran. Very proud of the West Indies young players putting up a great fight. And I'll be honest, some of those guys who went over to T20, they could take a lesson or two from these young men and the heart that they've showed throughout this test match. You know, I hope that these guys, with a win over Australia, get further opportunities. Hodge, Greaves, Shamar Joseph, also Kirk McKenzie, all good ball. Pitched up from Shamar Joseph, played off the front foot from Nathan Lyon. And Lyon charged down the pitch and smashed boundaries, says Porto. Australia wins his game changer. And 2 great test matches happening in 2 opposite parts of the world. You don't say test matches in danger, says the Enlightened. I mean, don't get me wrong, they still are, but it's great for test match cricket that we have had 2 great tests taking place next to each other. And I have loaded fries for lunch and Burger King for dinner. How's the England test going? At the moment, the way that it sits for the English, they were bowled out. Oh, that's off the glove of Nathan Lyon, but he will get another single. It's a little bit of a risk here for the West Indies because they are bowling that short ball to Nathan Lyon, which in regards of the way that Nathan Lyon plays, will entice that shot. But it also concedes a run every time that he hits the ball. Yes, you eventually maybe will get him out. But Hard to say. But yeah, currently England versus India is sitting England with a lead of 230, and the West Indies have to, the Indian side have to try and chase that down in the next 5 sessions. Shot off the back foot from Smith, straight out to Kirk McKenzie. How crucial could a stump bail, which didn't dislodge, prove to be in the match result, says Jerome. I don't think we can look at it that way. I think at the same time you could look at how crucial will a drop catch of Steve Smith be, how crucial will the drop catches that we have seen from other players in this test match be. You know, there's all these little things. How crucial will the West Indies tail falling over be in the outcome of this match? So I don't think we can put one bail not dislodging down to a result of a test match. You know, there's always little moments where sides have their ups and their downs. Bit of luck favouring Alex Carey there. But the West Indies, they came back from lunch, batted 40 minutes and scored 4 runs and lost about 5 wickets. So that was something that definitely affected it as well. You should bowl Yorkers, says Porto. And also, did you do commentary the last Kiwis versus Kangaroo 36-0? I don't think so. I was very tempted to, but didn't end up doing it in the end. Yeah, very one-sided affair. And either way, been a great test, says Porto. Exactly right. Now, last ball. Short ball from Shamar Joseph. Goes down the leg side, and that will be the end of the session, ladies and gentlemen. Session number 1 comes to a close. Do you know who made the Women's Sevens final? So the Women's Sevens final, it is going to be contested. One moment. At the moment, Fiji actually down by 12 in the Canadian Women's, but it is Ireland versus Australia in the Women's Sevens final. That bail not dislodging was freakish, although we have seen it before. Ben Stokes facing off with Cam Green. We actually saw Ben Stokes off stump hit. The bail didn't dislodge. The bail firmly staying on there, so he was not out. What happened if Smith out? Can Cummins declare? Would the match be a draw? Well, the West Indies win, says Kyle. So if the Australians were to randomly declare here, then the West Indies would win, seeing as Australia are still down. And nice, says Annoy for Ireland. Shamar Joseph. I honestly think that this will be the hardest 40 minutes for Shamar Joseph of today, because he has to try and walk, first of all, off the field, and then from there, he has to try and get back out onto the field, get fired up, ready to go for the next innings. Is Australia doing good? I'll be honest, Jason, at the moment, it's a 50-50. West Indies could win this if they get 2 wickets. Australia could win it if they get 29 runs. Just look back at the stream, realised that a lot has happened when you were away. Yep, a lot. Unfortunately, a lot happened during that first Ireland versus Argentina game that we did cover on the channel for the Sevens. But the good news is the whole rest of this test match we will be able to cover on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Only the 29 runs required at the moment. The West Indies are $2.47 underdogs. The Australians coming in at $1.48 favourites. They are now going to be interviewing Hodge here. And one West Indies. Is this the last game, says Jason? So after this one's finished, we have still got the Sevens that we are covering. We've got South Africa versus France that I honestly think we will have to delay because it's taking place in 57 minutes time, and I don't think this game is going to be finished in time for us to be able to cover that. So, yeah, I think that one will be taken off in terms of streams that we've got scheduled, but we are going to be covering the matchup for the men's third place final. That is between Fiji and Ireland. That is at 9:40. And then also Australia versus Argentina. That is at 10:53. Living in Brooklyn from Guyana, loving it. Says proper music. I think Cummins now regrets about his declaration decision. What do you think? I don't think so. He will if they lose, but if they win, he won't. So it's one of those ones that we can't say until after we have seen the result of this test match. We are going to be back at 7:50 p.m. New Zealand time, ladies and gentlemen. Just going to be 1:50 a.m. for you guys in Jamaica, seeing as we are currently at the lunch break. They're going to have 40 minutes of a break. Is New Zealand in the playoffs? No, they finished 9th. And then just imagine how Head feels not being able to contribute a single run to either innings. Says Jeff, yeah, he's got to feel pretty down, but we've also got to remember he got the run out of Hodge. He did some very sharp work and close, stopped a partnership from forming for the West Indies. So even though he hasn't been able to perform with the bat, he's still been able to help in the field, and that is something that is so important for these two sides. I mentioned about it earlier on, Kirk McKenzie with that fielding managed to help his side out just that little bit more by not conceding a couple extra runs. And once again, anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Is it now lunch? It certainly is. So they have got a break here, ladies and gents, and then they are straight back into the action afterwards for the rest of this test match. 29 runs to win for the Australians, and for the West Indies, they need just the 2 wickets. But thank you all very much for tuning in. I will be popping away for around the 35-minute break, but we will be straight back afterward. I hear you, another thing could be overlooked is if Shamar didn't get hit on the boot, and they had the opportunity to add further runs. Whichever angle you analyse it, absolutely thrilling test. Exactly right. There are so many mini moments in a test match, and they all make test match cricket what it is. A little bit of controversy goes a long way in a test match as well, because it fires the teams up. This test being played in very high spirits from both sides. Shamar Joseph getting the wicket of Mitchell Starc, I'm sure felt pretty good. And that was actually his 5th wicket that he was able to take as well. But thank you all very much for being here. We will be back in 30 minutes for the start of the next session. Right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for what will be the final session of this Test series between the West Indies and Australia. Currently, the scene has been set. 29 runs needed for Australia to win, for the West Indies to get themselves their first historic victory in over 20 years. They will need to get 2 wickets. Now, Shamar Joseph helped the West Indies work their way quite nicely towards that target, managing to get himself 6 wickets in a 10-over bowling spell. He was expensive early on, but after he got that first breakthrough, he just kept on going, managing to get Travis Head out for a golden duck. He had a hat-trick ball in there to Steve Smith, but here's the man at the moment for the Australians who has the potential of helping them over the line here. Currently, he is sitting on 76 runs of 134 balls. Nathan Lyon at the non-striker's end. In fact, I believe he might actually be on strike for this first delivery of the session. He is sitting on 5 off of 14. It would be great if West Indies win everything they said about this side beforehand. Going to Australia, see his colours of the rainbow. And the final result is going to be same to same for both teams because Smith's still not out and Windies have to only get 2 wickets, says Alvin. Yeah, the fact that the Australians are down to 8 wickets, in another scenario, they would find it a little bit more challenging. The fact that one of those 2 wickets that they have got up their sleeve is Steve Smith, a man who has struggled for form at the top of the order, but now has got himself a new high score for opening of 76 runs. He normally converts his 50s into hundreds. He'd need 24 of the remaining 29 runs for that to happen, but he's fired up. He's still looking at the back of that bat where Joshua Da Silva did step on it at the end of the last session. It's been on his mind. He's punching his spine at the moment, Steve Smith. It's going to be extremely important that they pick up from where they left off here, the West Indies. Alzarri Joseph will be continuing his spell. Shamar Joseph, as tough as it will be, I believe that they will try and keep him bowling. Maybe they'll go to Roach at the other end, but for now, I think that they need Shamar Joseph if they want a chance of having that X factor that could break open this game and help them get themselves a victory. But 29 runs may not take too long for the Australians here. 2 slips and the gully. Bat pad still in play as they will try and bowl short to Nathan Lyon. It's a tactic that does work often when Nathan Lyon's on strike. And why the match doesn't start, says Alvin, so it is just about to start now. Alzarri Joseph, he will be bowling the first ball of this session. We aren't able to show licensing or license footage, so that is why you won't see any visuals other than the scoreboard and myself. But the final session, 29 runs for the Australians to win, 2 wickets for the West Indies to get themselves the victory. And we are in the awkward stage of the evening now, where the sun is starting to set, makes it a little bit harder to be able to see the ball. I have to say, the weather has done nothing like what it was supposed to. It was supposed to be an 80% chance of rain. At the moment, it looks like it's 80% chance that it's going to be a beautiful day. It is fielded. Short leg from Shandapal. And during at 5 p.m. in Brisbane, says Akash. And there's, I like they're saying, 5 or maybe actually about 10 hours ago, it was raining and there was thunder. And now it's a sunny afternoon. Which team do you support? I am impartial. And this one, of course, the Australians top of the chain for such a long time. But the West Indies with these young, inexperienced players, if they can pull off the victory here, it will certainly be, I would say, right up there with the biggest achievement of some of these young men's careers. Young men's career, I should say. Left alone outside of off stump. Well, not really left alone. He's had a bit of a dash at Nathan Lyon. Close to the outside edge. He has to be very strategic. More than likely, the strike has to go to Steve Smith more often than not. Because if they can manage that strike and keep Steve Smith at the main end, it means that no matter what, you're still in that scenario of throwing it into Smith's hands. And as the more experienced man when it comes to the batting, the higher man up the order as well, he is the man who should get a majority of these remaining runs. Big full toss, Nathan Lyon hits it to the boundary on the leg side for 4. Joseph targeted the Yorker, but it was overpitched and Lyon strikes, takes the opportunity, and it's 4 more runs now, 25 remaining for the West Indies to defend Now let's go the West Indies, says Austin. You overpitched. Would have fit into the pad of Nathan Lyon, but I believe it would have been down leg. Joseph, you can see the frustration on his face. They can't afford a couple expensive first overs here. Unfortunately for the West Indies, they were on such a roll in that last session. To have this break is now going to completely take away that momentum and they have to rebuild it. Joseph pitching it up. Big loud call of no from Nathan Lyon after getting him behind it. He'll probably end up taking a few on the body throughout this over and the ones that are coming up. But if he can get through it, Australia will reap the rewards of one of their hardest fought victories in a test match that at times they thought would be easy. These young West Indian players have said absolutely otherwise. Mr. 47 not out. 47 out for Nathan Lyon, so he can bat, but I think he's here for a quick time, not a good time. Caught and bowled has been dropped by Alzarri Joseph. It was a tough chance, but it's a chance that you have to take. Lyon smiling at him, but Joseph just had the chance to have the Aussies 9 down. Nathan Lyon going for a straight drive, just chips it back, and Joseph, he got almost 2 hands to it. Catches win matches. And like they just said, comfortable chance. A pace bowler of Alzarri Joseph's caliber would normally take those 9 times out of 10. Australia will win. West Indies very good comeback, says Akash. That was the chance, and I feel like Alzarri Joseph knows it. It is tough to get as low. He knows it was catchable. Can he make up for it here? Last ball of the over. Lyon still at the crease. I think he's edged it. Yes, he has. Nathan Lyon, very next ball dismissed. Lyon walks, and they've got the 9th wicket. Alzarri Joseph, 1 ball before, just would have felt the lowest of low, and now he's feeling the highest of highs. And my word, opportunity spilled, says Jerome, or was it? Because first ball afterwards manages to get the all-important wicket. Nathan Lyon dismissed. Steve Smith, there's the edge. It was the bottom edge. Lyon on his way. That was a silly shot to play. Yes, it was a little bit back of a length. Could have left it, shown his arms, and given Steve Smith the strike at the other end. No words for West Indies because they are fighting with the number 1 team in the world. They have 2 wickets to get. Shamar Joseph was very well done for the team, says Alvin. And Lyon on his way. And 1 wicket to go, please, says Rian. And yes, West Indies, says Rian. And there as well. Now, I talked about the betting odds all throughout this game. Australia now become $2.60 underdogs in this contest. So, still not huge underdogs, to be honest. 25 runs can feel like a long time. But Steve Smith, the type of batsman that loves these challenges, sometimes he doesn't think cricket in itself is challenging enough. He needs little tasks. He needs moments to try and become a hero. And this is going to be now his moment, ladies and gentlemen. He is on strike. And I believe Shamar Joseph will be the bowler who continues his spell. And are you watching the match? I am watching on Sky Sport now here in New Zealand. 1 wicket to win. Shamar Joseph to Steve Smith. Hit to the leg side. And Smith hits him away to the boundary for 4 runs. I think the flipping switch in the head of Steve Smith has just realised, I'm the last one here. Yes, he's got Hazelwood at the other end. Smith, to get his 100, he will need to get a majority of the remaining runs. But 21 runs to get. Shamar Joseph just banging a little bit too short into the pitch. Australia $2.04 underdogs, so they're never quite out of this game. The West Indies just needing 1 good ball. They are paying $1.70. See what happens. Second slip taken out now. Pitched up and straight delivery, well played by Steve Smith. Got his body in behind it. Who will win, buddy, according to you? Says Ritayan. At the moment, it's a complete 50-50 in my opinion, because with Steve Smith still being at the crease, he is the X factor for the Australians. In fact, I would probably say the West Indies 60-40 at the moment. As Shamar Joseph, 6 wickets. He's already got the 6. He's looking for the 7th. And it would be the exact same way that he started his test match Bowling career, another pull shot from Steve Smith. They will take the run. No, they don't. Okay, so Hazelwood at the non-strikers end. They have agreed that Steve Smith is the man who has to get the job done. Hazelwood will happily sit patiently, watching on. Steve Smith, he needs 5 more boundaries and a single, which still sounds like it's quite a wee way away, but all the West Indies need is 1 ball to tear through Smith. And they would get the victory here. Oh, it's pinged up off, but it was after, just off to the side of the slip cordon. They have 1 man there. They've taken the single this time. Australia get the run. I think they thought that they may have gotten 2, but what a ball from Shamar Joseph. Reared up off the surface. Outside edge from Smith and just about ended up getting caught. Diving effort from Hodge. In fact, I think it was Sinclair who couldn't quite reach out to touch that ball. And like they've said, because of that edge, it's exposed Hazelwood now to 2 deliveries from Shamar Joseph. Steve Smith actually hurting his finger with that delivery. And I think he kind of forgot the scenario that they find themselves in. Does want to have more of the strike than Hazelwood. He's got the glove off. He cannot retire hurt or else Australia will lose this test match. Smith, best test cricketer of under pressure in test, says Akash. And memories of New Zealand's 1-run win against England recently. Wagner and Anderson. Sorry, I never got your name. Says Jerome, here comes Shamar Joseph to Hazelwood. He's played it well. And he keeps that ball out. If he had missed, it was going through his stumps. Surveyors had said, let's go. This is the kind of test match that people will remember for a very long time. It would have cleaned up the off-stump, limited foot movement from Josh Hazelwood, but still gets the bat on him. Get him, guys, says Jeff. Yeah, I will once again say, like I said in the last session, ladies and gentlemen, if for some reason you are a little bit further ahead of myself, please be sure to react to it after we have commentated it, just so that it doesn't spoil it for myself or the others in the chat. But Shamar Joseph tries the wide Yorker, and that is now going to be the end of this over, 9 for 196. This match isn't over. And I can tell you right now, there are still twists and turns left. Mighty Gold Test Cricket says Changing Lives broadcast, of course, half chances. Alzari Joseph dropping the catch of Nathan Lyon to then pick up his wicket the very next ball. I paused my TV, so we're in tune now, says Hanoi. And there as well, like they've just said on the commentary, it would mean so much for the West Indies if they can pull off this monumental upset. They came into this match with a 3% chance of winning. After the first test, they were told that maybe they shouldn't even be playing Australia because they aren't good enough. And now they are proving that they can hold their own up against the world's best side. Ram shot from Steve Smith. How would you have known that that was coming? 6 runs from Steve Smith. That is an incredible shot from an incredible batsman. Ramps the ball over his head. Alzari Joseph pitched it up. But Steve Smith channeling his inner T20. That definitely is a boundary that you can't predict. Definitely not when Steve Smith hits it about 4 lines into the stands. But to go for that shot, imagine he gets bowled with a Yorker. Steve Smith, 140 Ks, and he has decided, meh, why not? See how it goes. 14 runs to win now for the Australians. Steve Smith is scanning the field, trying to find where his singles, or more cases, boundaries, are going to be scored. Alzari Joseph pitches it up, driven by Smith. He says wait, and they turn down the single. And the real hero plays when the team needs him the most, says Ritian. And I should mention Steve Smith is 13 away from his first century as an opener. At this point, he is probably going to have the opportunity, if no wickets fall, to get a majority of those runs. But if he loses his wicket, then it would be the end, and the West Indies would get themselves the victory. Oh, swing and a miss there. Manjay has said out, so we're going to have to time you out. Sorry, mate, because we did say try not to put any spoilers in the chat, but you were very keen on trying it. We have got their bowler now, Alzari. Says CC Sports Lab. And OMG, don't throw it away, guys. And another one says Simran. Smith wanted that ramp shot there. He's saying that he should have gone over the top, although there is a fielder there. We always got there, can Joseph get an IPL contract from this? Says Hanoi. He's become a bit of a hero for the West Indies already. Even if they just fall short, he's still going to be known for having a brilliant series. Yorker. They're going to take the single. Well done from Josh Hazlewood to recognise the chance to get down the other end, to take the extra run, to get a little bit of bat on it. 13 now required. Now stream the matches West Indies versus Sri Lanka. New Zealand versus Sri Lanka. The middle months of 2024. Sri Lanka do often give us copyright strikes, so we probably won't be able to for their matches, unfortunately. Smith is in full protectionist mode now. Says Jerome. But yeah, he didn't want the single, Steve Smith. He was actually more keen to keep the strike for a bit longer. And we're about to find out in this next two balls, was it the right decision to take that single? Or are they better off? Alzari Joseph. Well played again by Hazlewood. He already has an IPL contract. It's over now. Kiwi Lads Sports, so be sure not to put any predictions. I know he gave Hazlewood the strike. Says Jerome, and Smith can do a final guess, mate. It's a no ball from Alzari Joseph. So even if he got the wicket of Hazlewood, he unfortunately would have found himself going out. Now only 12 runs required for the West Indies to be able to defend, I should say. Alzari Joseph, he's still got two more balls at Josh Hazlewood. The last thing that they need is another mistake. Hazlewood, 0 off 3. Yorker! He's hit it into the ground, or I think he's hit his bat into the ground, which did make the noise. One ball remaining in Alzari Joseph's over. Underneath the bat. Targeted 216 at the start of the innings. We felt like that should have been a chaseable total on this nice surface, but might be that scenario of maybe it was a bit harder than we first anticipated. The rain was supposed to be falling today, and that has not happened. So at the moment, it's all on for young and old. Final ball. 3 slips and a gully for the last ball of Alzari Joseph's over. It's a bouncer down the leg side, and that'll be the end of this over. Steve Smith will be back on strike for the next one, and currently it is 204 for 9. Still 12 runs required, ladies and gentlemen, to cross the line here for the Australians. We've got their ties on, bro, says David Lim. And game over next ball. And OMG, no extras, please. And final ball wicket, says CC. It could be final ball. Will Smith get to a century, says Rityan. And there, I mean, if Hazlewood doesn't score any runs from here, Steve Smith will have the opportunity to score all 12 runs and bring up his century. But, of course, we will have to wait and see if that becomes a reality. 3 boundaries from Steve Smith, and this match is over. Shamar Joseph, he has actually, even though he has taken 6 wickets, he's been one of the more expensive West Indian bowlers for the second innings. A lot of men back on the boundary. That is to try and keep Steve Smith from hitting the boundary but getting a single. Big bounce, 146 Ks for Shamar Joseph, ripping it down there, trying to intimidate Steve Smith. Just saying, it is past 3 a.m. in Barbados at the time that this one has taken place, but the eyes are still firmly set on this test match no matter where you are in the world. If you are new to the channel, I should mention, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are only 2 away from our subscriber goal, so be sure, if you haven't already, to hit that button. Shamar Joseph running in for his second delivery of the over. Steve Smith glided. They're going to take 2. Oh, it's going to be tight. They're going to take it on, and he gets there, Steve Smith. The throw wasn't hard enough. It was half a run-out chance for a second, but Steve Smith moves to 90 now with 10 runs remaining. He wanted it straight away. He ran maybe harder than he has all throughout the rest of the innings, but he actually got there comfortably by a few metres, Steve Smith. Very smart batting. The fact that the West Indies have so many fielders back, but Smith is still able to manipulate the field to give him the 2 runs and keep the strike away from Josh Hazlewood. Nice pitched up delivery there. No run taken. Could have thought about the 1. But then, of course, that would mean that Hazlewood would be on strike. And at this stage of the match, they cannot afford to make any minor errors. Half a mistake, and this test match will be over. We go again. Nicely played by Smith. They will take the single this time. That will leave 2 balls for Josh Hazlewood. 9 runs remaining in this test match. Hazlewood at this stage, he has to survive. He wouldn't mind scoring a run or 2 if they are on offer, but more than likely he's going to receive a little bit of short stuff and maybe a Yorker thrown in there for good measure. 3 slips, in fact 4 slips in play for the West Indies here. They've just said Josh Hazlewood, he's not paid to score runs, he's paid to take wickets. He's done that part. Now he has to try and survive. Oh, he's bowled him! And Shamar Joseph and the West Indies have made history. Over 20 years since the last win for the West Indies in Australian conditions. And Shamar Joseph, the man of the hour, the man of the test match, the man of the match, has just done it for the West Indies. And that is a moment that this young West Indian side will remember for a long time. And only his second test match, Shamar Joseph. That is a moment in West Indies and test match cricket history that will be extremely hard to top. But winning it by just 8 runs, the West Indies get the job done. Shamar Joseph, he took the Yorker of Mitchell Starc to his toe. It didn't look like he was going to be able to bowl. He comes out on day 4 and he takes 7 wickets in 11.4 overs and finishes the job for the West Indies. And let's go, says Austin. West Indies becoming best team, right? And did I get that right? You certainly did, but Steve Smith stuck at the other end on 91 not out, batted right through the innings. But it wasn't enough. Hazlewood, he will be gutted. But Shamar Joseph, the radar was locked into off stump and he knocked the thing over. 7 wickets for him in this innings. And the West Indies, like I said, make history. And the youngster Shamar Joseph, someone said in the comments earlier on that he was overrated. I feel like there's no way but to rate this man now on the international test scene. And I have to say, it's not just him who has stepped up for the West Indies. Yes, this has been a phenomenal bowling effort, but this young team, the bigger players, the experienced guys taking contracts for the T20 League, the young men on test debut, Sinclair gets the opportunity, gets a 50. How much could the West Indies have found themselves down by if Australia batted that little bit longer? We've got to remember that declaration in the first innings as well. But Greaves, Kirk McKenzie, Hodge, these new men for the West Indies, they are the future, and the future is bright for West Indian cricket. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. It has been one of the best test matches we have seen in recent times. You can see Labuschagne celebrating with Shamar Joseph, congratulating him, and Mitchell Starc saying, hope your toe's all right, but you've just destroyed us in the second innings. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. We have got another live stream just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen, that we are covering on the channel. That is going to be South Africa when they do go head-to-head with France in the sevens. But thank you all very much for tuning in. We are also back for the ODI series and the T20s for the West Indies. So be sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. But I thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next one.